doing this natural hair industry justice from the beginning when no one was thinking about being natural. Nefertiti secrets? It ain't no secret no more, right? Alright. So, I don't know if you guys really know the difference between natural hair or chemically treated hair. People are like, you ain't natural, you got a color. You ain't natural, you wear a weave. Natural hair is natural, your hair in its original state, not being altered. So if you have a color, your hair isn't natural. But when you embrace your texture and don't break the bonds of your hair is natural. Are we all understood? Let's let Georgia come on this side because she could get on this chair. Yes! Come in, queen! Put your hands together for Georgia Smith. And Georgia, we ain't even got to give you the questions because you got this on your brain, girl. You be coming off the head top. And you got a mic, Valencia? Okay. Come, Valencia, one of the sisters on the panel here. Can you tell us, as women, what can we do to understand that we are not our hair, that our high self-esteem should not be based on what we look like on the outside? Let's just elaborate to the sisters about that. And brothers.
We are not our hair. I think we are our hair.
Think so? Okay, you can think that.
Yeah. So me personally, I think we are our hair. And the reason I think that is because with our natural hair, it relates so much to our culture, who we are as African people. Me personally, you know, when I started doing natural hair, I was in the psychology department at Florida A&M, and there is an African-centered department. And there, the reason why I, decided to go ahead and work with natural hair instead of, working with my psychology degree is because in that department, I saw how our culture related to our hair. When I was in those classrooms, I saw that when we braided our hair down, that the different ways that we braided had different meanings. When someone would cut their hair in different cultures, that may have meant that they may have been going through some type of mourning. So in some ways, I feel like that our hair is a part of who we are. I had a class earlier and we talked about protective styles. And what goes around comes around, because if you look at the walls of hieroglyphics in ancient Kemet, you can see women doing comb twists, you see lots of braids, and not only that, people with high status, they actually wore wigs, and that's in ancient Kemet. So when we say what goes around comes around, it goes around and it comes around, and it came from our culture, our African culture. So a lot of this is not new at all.
That's what's up. So we are our hair. I like that. Does anybody think that we're not our hair? I mean, that's something to think about. Pass the mic. Let's see. Anybody have a different perspective on that same question, or the same to?
I wouldn't say totally different. I do agree with everything you're saying, but I think sometimes, especially with our youth, they get it twisted, thinking that they are their hair in a sense of if their hair. Let's go for the straight. If their hair is not straight or, chemically altered, or they don't have a weave, they don't feel pretty, Okay. And I think I differ on that part as far as, just looking at it from a different perspective, that they think that, okay, if my hair doesn't look a certain way, then I'm not pretty, so I need to look this way in order to be pretty. Even with some natural young ladies, if their hair isn't long enough, or if they have a fro, or if it just doesn't, if they don't have a so-called tight, hair type, like someone else.
They're not a 4A?
They don't feel like they're
not a 2B?
Yeah.
Everybody can't be a 2B now, come on now.
Yeah, they feel inadequate. So I differ just slightly on that part of the self-esteem aspect if their hair isn't like someone else's.
Like not,
yeah.
We're not our hair saying it doesn't define you.
It does
define you, as Valencia is saying, but
yeah, it doesn't define you internally.
Right, and it doesn't make you different because your hair is a certain way. You know what I mean? And I agree with that totally. And another thing that I hear a lot is, oh, I've been natural 4 years under my weave. Okay. So why are you under your weave? What's happening? And I'm not against weave. I got hair. I wear weave all day. But I do come out and be free with my own hair. You gotta love yourself. Anybody have anything to say about that? I know you do, April. Oh no, audio. Okay.
I wanted to connect with what you were saying. So we are our hair, but we also are what has been put into us from when we were a child. And in that, I want to honor my mother, because my mother always told me I was beautiful. And I didn't think anything different. The first inkling I got of something different is when I moved to moved to Atlanta, Georgia, from New York. I was raised in Connecticut, but my mother always told me and all my sisters that we were beautiful. So we thought we were beautiful. When I got to Atlanta, I found out that there were sisters my complexion who didn't think that they were beautiful just because they were brown skinned. So a part of the beauty and identity comes from what's put within. So it's important for mothers and grandmothers and aunts and sisters to hug each other and reaffirm and tell each other that they're beautiful. That way your child will always feel that they are beautiful, and they won't know anything different until they're exposed to something different.
Absolutely. I remember I used to think Marsha Brady was the hottest chick on TV. I wanted to be her. I'm like, why my hair ain't blonde? Why my hair ain't long? Like, I used to me and my sister used to put towels on our head with a beret around and be walking around the house like, you are not Marsha Brady, Trudy. Stop it. Anybody else?
Yeah, so I wanted to add on to what we're talking about, being hair, us being our hair or not. Also, I'm a stylist. I've been a stylist for several years, and I've encountered clients that experience cancer and chemo where they lose their hair totally. So if they only got their worth and feeling wonderful about themselves from their hair, then they would feel like crap, So I think it kind of just depends on what's happening in your life. Day to day, if you're healthy and you're fine and you're going to work and I'm in my salon or whatever, yeah, I want my hair to look fly. I keep my hair done, I'm trendy, all that good stuff. But if I'm fighting cancer and I lose all my hair, I need to make sure that, to second what you said, I'm feeling good and I know why I'm important. I know my worth, and regardless of what's happening, I'm still gonna feel great about myself,
That's awesome. That is so, so true. And I feel like I'm my hair because depending on the hairstyle I have, I'm like a new person. Like, I feel so empowered. I shaved my head the other day. I was on fire. They were like, you are beautiful. I'm like, beautiful? Say that again. Say it out loud. Yes. You know what I mean? So, in a sense, I get it. And it comes from something deeper within.
I want to agree with you, Simone, on that, because I just shaved my hair like 4 months ago. I mean, clean, bald. And a lot of people had some crazy reactions like, yo, what's wrong with you? What's going on? You just took all your hair off for no reason? But sometimes you can just love yourself for being who you are. Your hair does not have to define you, even though hair is a part of our culture, but it doesn't necessarily define you. I have had people come to the salon and say, oh, I want this hairstyle, a short cut. And when you start cutting the hair, they would cry. They would hold on to the pieces that fell on the floor and say, what? You're cutting too much. But I'm like, if you're showing me a short style and I'm cutting it to the style, but you don't want to let go of that hair, something's wrong. You are beautiful. And when the style is finished and they see themselves, they're like, wow, I got to get used to this. But the more compliments they get, they build their self-confidence from it. Because what their appearance to other people or what other people might say is what determines a person's self-worth or beauty. But it has to be from within, because a person, if they're secure in themselves, can make anything beautiful.
Yes.
You can wear anything with confidence and make other people like it, even though they would never do it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I had. That's my adage.
I'm going to agree with everyone on we are our hair, because I'm not the natural stylist up here.
We embrace you, sis.
But
you
I
are
embrace
definitely
y'all
a
still
master.
the same way.
But you are still a master.
But I'm going to say this to say, because I have a 29-year-old son, and I watched him go through a change on trying to find his inner self, on who he is. For 3 months, he covered all the mirrors in his house. covered all the mirror. He didn't want to see how he looked for 3 months. And as he's growing his hair out and it's just getting nappy and it's just looking crazy. And I'm like, so you're not going to get a haircut? You know? And then I had to learn what he was trying to do. You know, so he was trying to let people accept him, and he was trying to accept himself for him, for his inner him. So he wasn't worrying about on what everybody else was thinking. Now, being in a salon, and like she said, with the cancer, dealing with having to do wigs for cancer patient, it's really a big deal on the outside for cancer patient, and it's really a big deal for a lot of clients because they make their hair be their life. And if the hair is not a certain way, they won't feel a certain way, you know. But the hair is also our beauty.
Absolutely.
But it's how you want to feel as your beauty. You could be bald-headed, and I've seen some beautiful bald-headed women, you know. But with social media and with trying to keep up with the world, a lot of women, they just lose that self-esteem, and they just feel like they're not beautiful, even if they are beautiful. So
Exactly.
we are our hair. I wear weaves. I don't wear weaves at times, but I know even without the weave, I'm still beautiful. And I tell myself I'm beautiful. I post every day. I know they tired of seeing my picture. I'm cute, even if I ain't cute, you know? But you have to just block out the TV and block out what's in front of us and just look at your inner self and see I'm beautiful even with a perm, with a relaxer, with natural hair, with no hair, with blonde hair, with blue hair. You are yourself, and your hair defines who you are at times, and according to the job you have, you know what I mean, or the corporate world that you're in. Some won't accept kinky hair, you know. I have clients that they have natural hair, but they put on the cap just to go to work, but they take it off on the weekend. They're free, and that's sad.
I'm gonna piggyback off that a little bit. Because I know Simone introduced us as beauty bloggers, but I kind of we try not to ascribe to that. I'm going to try to err to the side of
Yes, honey, tell them.
micro-consciousness, if you will, on an individual level. We do something called conscious hair.
I love that.
And you can go on our Instagram, you can go on our blog, and you can read about all the wonderful ways in which to enhance your beauty. But you will also see a lot about social consciousness. We also talk a lot about social awareness. And when I went natural 5 years ago, I felt a social responsibility as a black woman living in America to embrace who I was. How can you watch these atrocities that are happening on the news? And how can you truly say you love black women? How can you cry over slain black sons and cover up the crown, that which makes you who you are? How?
Absolutely.
I couldn't live with myself and live such a lie. And so from that, Au Natural was born. And so don't let the high heels fool you. We're militant. We're militant. And I say that in the sense that we are involved actively in the community, but on an individual level of consciousness of the movement, where for us it is important to sit with women one-on-one, to hold events like this event and the event that we keep, and have conversations with women about the reasons why it is important to go natural, the reasons why this should not be a trend. Although if that's what it takes to get you to pay attention, I'll do that. And I'll wear lipstick and I'll gussy it up, and you'll come and ask me and you'll talk to me about how I got my hair to look like this. When you leave me, my hope is that you understand why and not how. Because the how doesn't matter. I wake up I decided to stop perming my hair. That's it, if you want to know. That's
awesome.
How I went natural.
But
the
listen,
reason why.
Let me be devil's advocate really quickly, okay? And it's all good to be militant, because I was that. When I first went natural, I grew locks. You couldn't tell me what you eating? Why you eating? That ain't no good for you. You ain't conscious, sister. You know, I was a tree hugger, all of that, okay? But I have a glamorous side. And this is, I'm playing devil's advocate. People think that natural sisters can't be glamorous, because you're like, if that's what it takes to be a trend, I'll wear the lipstick. But confidence is everything. You know what I'm saying? Even with a relaxer and a haircut and going through losing your hair or whatever it might be, you know? What defines us as women? You know what I mean? Like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to ask the question, if we're not our hair, or if we are our hair, what brings us to that level of confidence? Is it stages in life? You know what I mean? Because there was a time where I didn't really have a lot of self-esteem. You know what I mean? And I was natural and vegan and all kind of things, and I was a mess on the inside. You know, and I realized once I got my stuff together, got my life together, I got to another level of consciousness. So let's talk about that. Let's empower our sisters and brothers about, okay, yeah, we can go natural to be strong, but what does it take to really be that confident? I think it's loving yourself. What do you guys think?
I think that's an extremely good question, and I think the way to figure out, you said, you know, there's a stigma that you can't be glamorous and be natural, you can't be that. No, the way you accept your beauty is self-discovery. Self-discovery is the first. When she was explaining how her brother had to go, or your son had to go through, everyone has to go through that period where you really look in yourself and say, hey, I'm trying to look like her on the TV, she on the magazine, her, and it's not helping me. I don't feel good. I'm trying to look like everybody else and I still don't like me. What's wrong with me? And you have to really look inside yourself, and I think that's where, once you go natural, you start to really look at who you are. It's so important because your ancestors come out, your roots, you start to learn about yourself, and once you go natural, you start to care for your skin, because you start to look at your skin on your face, you start to look at your body. It's an entire process that starts with self-discovery and truly embracing who you are, because we are taught from we're young to not like who we are, to not accept ourselves. Yeah, you're cute, but the girl on TV though, with that hair, the blonde hair though, and you're like, well, I'm never gonna have that. So when do you feel that self-worth? And that's why I'm so grateful that this is becoming a trend. This is something that we can look at this Expo Center. There's people sitting here and we're all talking about going natural. It's important for the survival and the continuance of our people. You know what I mean?
I would like to piggyback off of what she said. I have a saying, and my saying is ridicule comes before respect. Everybody will pass judgment on things that you want to do. You know, like when you're building a house, right? Nobody's there to lay the first brick for the foundation. Everybody will watch you. They won't say, oh, let me help you. But you see, when you finish the house and it's structured and it look good, the bathroom in, the roof on top of the house, they ready to move in. You know, they ready to move in and don't pay a light bill. You know, but ridicule will always come before respect. People want to respect you when they see what you're doing is doing something, is saying something. Confidence is without saying. I'm the black sheep of my family. I do things that they don't understand. They can't understand me. Yo, they don't understand how I dress like this. What's going on with you? Which part of the world you come from? But no matter what, I hold my head up and I make it look good because I feel good inside of me. Thank you. So, ridicule does come before respect. And when people ridicule you, that just means that you have caught their eye. You have something that they want to have. And so they try to shut you down because they're insecure within themselves. So take that ridicule and feed it like negative and positive energy, how it make lights shine.
Right. And I want to talk a little bit about what you said about natural hair being unprofessional. I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and I do it close to a college campus, FSU and Florida A&M. And I would have students who would come and sit in my chair when they were going natural and cutting their hair, like you said, and crying because their parents sent them to school and they didn't feel like they would be able to go out and compete. But I'm here to tell you that in this 20 years plus that I've been doing natural hair, we do people from all walks of life. And it depends on, too, your confidence, who you surround yourself with, and just pretty much knowledge of knowing who you are and being confident, you know, in who you are and what it is that you're doing. So from my stance and working with people for so long, I see professional people. And now, too, if you look at commercials, there was a time when you looked at commercials and all you saw was the blonde, long, straight hair. But if you look around,
the industry is watching. They're watching us closely. And if you look at your commercials now, all of the commercials, all you see is natural hair. Go into the stores now and pay attention. What I'm noticing now is, and we have to be careful about this too, with our industry growing, with natural hair growing, if you go into the hair stores, you'll see the relaxers now. They're at the bottom. And you'll see all of the natural hair stuff, on the top shelves.
Listen,
but I
because
want
it's
you,
not
don't be mistaken by those natural products on the top shelves
Right,
either.
'cause they're
Because
not
it's the
all
same
natural.
people that's
They're
making all of
selling
that
them.
other stuff
Right.
that's trying to get in on
we
the
done shifted
industry.
this thing into a whole nother lane. I'm about to talk to the product lady, okay? Woo, this is my stuff right here, okay. Now listen, we seeing the commercials changing. It's not because the sky opened up and now they think black women are beautiful and extraordinary. We are the consumers. Let's keep it real. We've been buying relaxer at a rate that they could not understand. And it was because of our self-esteem while we was running and doing that. Now, I don't have nothing against wearing my hair straight, but you need to have options. Healthy options. I remember when I went to beauty school, I was like, oh, when are we going to do the black hair section? They said, oh, 2 weeks. I went to school every day. I'm like, okay, we're going to do black. I came to school early that day. Yes. Sat in the front of the class. Today's the black hair section? They said, yes, absolutely. You ready, Simone? I said, yeah. The lady wrote on the board, chemical relaxers. I said, what? I thought you said we were going to talk about black hair. She said, we are. You just chemically straighten it, and then you do everything that I'm teaching you to do on white hair, on black hair. I was like, she said that out loud? I was the only person that was bothered by it. Everybody's like, yeah, because we can do the asymmetrical cut, or 4 degree, and because it has to be straight. I was like, y'all are serious?
And back then, I actually defied the law. I actually I started braiding, and I opened my business under art gallery because I considered what I was doing back then an art.
The art of hair, y'all. Put your hands together. I'm about to run off the stage.
So when I went in, I got my license under art gallery, and that way I wouldn't be governed by the cosmetology department. And the reason I did that is because they didn't have courses, that taught braiding or natural hair care or natural products.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Disney World, Busch Gardens, the little wraps and the braids that they put in your hair. So it goes back to money, okay?
Right,
So when we need people,
licensing.
exactly, they're not going to make you go through how many hours of cosmetology to add a braid at Disney World.
Guys, I came up with the art of hair as the theme of this year's show, and everybody's like, oh, you're going to do creative hairstyles? And I was like, yeah, but I mean the art of hair. I mean this panel, these are all hair designers, or people that love and cultivate the art of hair. It's an art form, like karate, you feel me? Like, it's an art form. It's not just something that you do. And what's happening to the industry, I remember being the first natural hair salon in South Florida. And now, there's a lot of natural hair salons, but people aren't respecting stylists. They're running to YouTube for answers, and it's okay. Y'all go to YouTube. YouTube is a good source of information, but it's also a good source of misinformation. We've been studying this. How many? I'm going to just say the years.
26.
About almost 30.
Finished school in 98, so.
You don't want to do the math? You want us to do it? She ain't telling that age right here.
I'm 60, about 34 years.
24 years.
Five.
Five years.
You can say 5. 5 is good. Some people don't make 1 year in business. Put your hands together, 5 years.
5 years.
What about you, sis?
I started braiding in 1990, and it's the only job I've had since.
Okay. I've been doing hair 25 years, and I started at 5. But what's happening is we're losing the stylists in this equation, and that's what I got passion about. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like people doing hair in the kitchen. No shade, I started in the kitchen, but I took it to the next level. Products, the product companies, the big product companies are chasing the consumer's dollar. I remember a day that the product lines could not go into the street without coming to the stylist first. They'll say, we'd like you to test, this is a test market, and we'd like you to test these products. And I'm like, it's garbage. Throw it away. Now they're like, okay, people, would you like some good garbage? Can you guys take some good garbage? You know what I mean? That's why we do arenas like this with product lines that work. Product lines that are gonna help you. So we empower you. People say, what products do you recommend? I don't recommend products. I recommend ingredients. So when you take the product and you look at the back, you're holding them accountable to the ingredients that work for your hair. All right, guys? So, I want to, the point I was getting so excited about. Audio Akil has been creating natural products for over 30 years in this industry. When they told her it couldn't work, you couldn't make products without preservatives, and she's been making it happen. So with this shift in natural hair, I want to ask you, sis, with this shift in natural hair, where now it's on fire, you know what I mean? I called my business Natural Trendsetters because I felt like I was setting the trend because it wasn't set, okay? Now it's on fire, it's everywhere. Where do we go from here now that it's on fire, people are making money, billion-dollar industry, as people that's starting, you're doing the same thing, bringing it to the next level. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, I have to bring in a little bit of the past. If you're familiar with the AHBAI, which was the Association of Black Hair Care Products, where there was an actual symbol on the jar, and I think I saw one where the symbol's still there. They're the ones who really got the movement towards natural going, because most of the black manufacturers were in Chicago. Now most of them have sold to L'Oreal or whoever. But at that time, they recognized that if they kept on just making chemical-based products, that our hair was just we were going to have no hair. And so they are the ones, it came out of Chicago, where they promoted the whole natural product line idea. Okay, so you have to know that to know why and how the whole natural hair thing really has come about. It's because of the manufacturers out of Chicago. The future to me lies in honesty. I've made $1 million, but I've never made $1 million in 1 year. That's because I never sold out. Because the big companies came to me, but I wanted to keep my integrity. And what I'm happy in authenticity and authenticity of the ingredients.
Right.
Because I look at a lot of the products that are out now, and some of them that are very popular, but they're not all natural. So in the long run, the same damage that we were running away from with the chemicals is still there. Because it's all about the money and the advertisement and being slick and the sales. And then we as a people think, but a lot of us don't think. We just grab for what's the cheapest. Now that was one of my main issues. Most of the companies that wanted to buy me or wanted me to sell to them so that I could have nation and worldwide distribution wanted me to sell my products to them for $1 or $1.50 so that they could sell them back at a beauty supply store for $2 or $2.50 or $2.99. And it's not just about people say, oh, you're not that big, that's why you can't lower your price. No, it has nothing to do with that. If you're familiar with Aubrey Organics, which was the first European natural product company in America, they're still around, they remain natural and develop products for us. So I was like, no, that's not why, and I'm not going to do it. Even now, to be big, because we've done a relaunch at Praises Products. They want me, and even a lot of the Arabs, they want me to sell them my stuff so they can sell it back for $2.99. And I'm like, I'm just not going to do it because there's also the quality and the integrity of the product and your
Absolutely.
work. Your
Absolutely.
work and what you put in it is worth money too.
Absolutely.
So it's not just all about the ingredients.
Right.
Because they're going to be like, oh, just the ingredients.
Same
No,
thing.
it's about what you bring to the table.
Absolutely.
That has a price too. And we shouldn't devalue it. And that's why I look at shea butter that everybody uses, and I'm like, or black soap. They want to bring the the value of all of our products down so that we can only get $1 or $2 off of something.
Okay.
And I don't think that's fair.